Okay, so let's set the scene. The year is 586 BC. We're in Jerusalem, and this is a city that's absolutely on its knees. It's starving, it's surrounded, and it's on the very brink of collapse. Outside the walls, you've got the entire Babylonian army just waiting. And inside? Inside, a prophet is delivering a message that absolutely nobody wants to hear.
And there's no sugarcoating it. The prophet Jeremiah, he lays out this brutal, non-negotiable choice for every single person in that city. Option 1, stay and die from the sword, from famine, from disease. Option 2, walk out, surrender to the enemy, and live. It's a message all about survival, but you have to admit, it sounds an awful lot like treason.
And this right here, this is the heart of the conflict. You've got this head-on collision between Jeremiah's brutal prophecy, which promises life only if you surrender, and the entire political leadership, who are demanding a message of national pride, of defiant victory. It's the raw, ugly truth squaring off against the machinery of power.
I mean, Jeremiah just lays it out with chilling clarity. You have two paths. Path 1, resistance, that's a dead end. It leads to the sword, famine, and pestilence, period. Path 2, surrender, that leads to life. Yeah, sure, you might lose your home, your pride, but you get to keep your life as a prize. In a way, it's a kind of mercy even in the middle of all this judgment. The choice really couldn't be clearer.
So, how does the city's leadership react to this, let's say, unpopular message? Well, the high-ranking officials, the princes of Judah, they hear what Jeremiah is preaching to the people, and they don't see a divine warning. Oh no. They see a direct threat to their entire war effort, and they decide right then and there, he has to be silenced.
And their argument, you got to admit, it's pretty slick. They go straight to the king, and they just masterfully twist Jeremiah's message of survival into an act of sedition. They claim he's demoralizing the troops, that he's seeking the hurt of the people, not their well-being. For them, this inconvenient truth isn't just wrong, it's a crime, and it's a crime punishable by death.
So what does the king do? King Zedekiah, in this moment of just stunning weakness, completely caves. He basically tells his own officials, look, he's in your hands. I'm powerless against you. Do whatever you want with him. He just washes his hands of the whole thing, handing over his authority to his own subordinates.
And you know, this is way more than just a political move. It's a total abdication of his moral responsibility. The king, the one person who's supposed to uphold justice, simply steps aside and lets a monstrous injustice happen.
So the princes take Jeremiah to his dungeon. But you have to forget any idea of a normal prison cell. This was a cistern, a deep pit dug into the earth to hold water. Except there was no water, only a thick, deep layer of mire at the bottom. They lowered him down with ropes and just left him there, left him to sink into the mud and starve to death. This wasn't imprisonment. It was a slow, quiet execution.
Just when it seems like all is lost, an unlikely hero emerges. And I mean really unlikely. His name is Ebed-Melech. He's an Ethiopian, a foreigner, a servant working right there in the king's own palace. And he decides he just can't stay silent. I mean, can you just imagine the courage this took? Ebed-Melech goes directly to the king in public and confronts him. He doesn't just ask for mercy for Jeremiah, he flat out accuses the most powerful men in the kingdom, the princes, of doing evil. He calls out their cruelty and their injustice, risking absolutely everything.
And maybe, shaken by this direct appeal, the king actually relents. And the details of Ebed-Melech's rescue are just remarkable. He doesn't just throw a rope down the pit, no. He gathers old, soft rags, and he tells Jeremiah to put them under his armpits so the ropes won't cut into his skin. It's an act of such profound compassion, and it stands in just stark contrast to the cruelty of the princes.
So they pulled Jeremiah from the mire. He's saved from certain death, but his ordeal is not over. Not by a long shot. He's moved to the court of the prison. So he's alive, yes, but he's still very much a prisoner of the state.
And now we get to the dramatic heart of this whole story. With Jeremiah safe but still locked up, King Zedekiah arranges a secret, one-on-one meeting. He desperately needs to hear the truth from the very prophet he just allowed to be thrown into a pit to die.
Away from his powerful princes, the king is just desperate. Hide nothing from me, he begs. You can just feel it. He wants the unvarnished truth, but only where nobody else can hear it. Jeremiah, pretty understandably, asks if the king's just going to kill him for speaking that truth. and the king has to secretly swear that he won't. And here it is. We finally get to the core of the whole problem. Jeremiah repeats the divine message, surrender and live, but Zedekiah reveals his true fear. And it's not the Babylonians, it's his own people, the Judeans, who have already defected. He's terrified that if he surrenders, they'll mock him. Think about that. His fear of personal humiliation is greater than his fear for his entire kingdom. It's paralyzing to fear ridicule more than total ruin.
This contrast just captures the central irony perfectly. You've got these two men, right? But who is the real prisoner here? Jeremiah is literally in chains, yet he is spiritually free to speak the truth. Zedekiah sits on a throne, yet he is completely imprisoned by his fear of what other people think. He's a king in name only, a captive in his own court.
So the king has heard the unvarnished truth. He knows the path to salvation for himself and for his city. Now comes the moment of decision. This is it. This is his final chance to act.
And his decision is just devastating. Instead of choosing to obey, he chooses secrecy. His only command to Jeremiah is to keep their conversation a secret from the princes. His focus isn't on saving Jerusalem, it's on saving face.
The verdict is in. The king chooses secrecy over salvation. He actively conspires with Jeremiah to invent a cover story for the princes, telling them Jeremiah was just begging not to be sent back to that horrible pit. He chooses a convenient lie over a difficult truth, and in doing so, he seals his own fate and the fate of his entire city.
And history records what happens next. The prophecy is fulfilled with just brutal precision. In that same year, 586 BC, the city walls are breached, the city is burned to the ground, and King Zedekiah is captured trying to flee. His sons are executed right in front of him, before he himself is blinded and dragged away to Babylon in chains.
And what about Jeremiah? Well, we're left with this haunting image. The prophet remains right there in the prison court, vindicated but absolutely heartbroken, watching the city burn around him, a captive witness to the very destruction he spent his entire life trying to prevent.
So at the end of it all, we're left with this really stark lesson. The story of Zedekiah is about a leader who was given a clear path to survival, but he was too paralyzed by the fear of being mocked to actually take it. It forces us to ask the question, what is the ultimate cost of fearing other people more than you fear the truth?